The oracles of real estate, law, and taxes, the grand poobahs of Metro Detroit, are here to help you with your questions on short sales, bankruptcies, and taxes. From A to Z and from Lake St. Clair to Lansing, leaving no stone unturned to help you find your way through the dark and into the light. Live on the radio now, Jimmy Moss, Paul Gigliotti, and Mike Lotito.
Hey, welcome. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. What a beautiful day. To my mom, happy Mother's Day. Love you with all my heart and everything you guys, my mom and dad have done for me. So a special day, and I can never thank you enough. So with that said, I got my co-host over here, Mr. Paul Gigliotti, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, buddy.
Thanks, Jimmy. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. My mom has passed, so I guess I could throw a happy Mother's Day out there to her. But, I'm the kind of person where I think everything in life happens for a reason and that everything is a lesson. And, what defines our character is, how we react in certain bad times, And so I just want to share a quick story. When my mom passed, how it relates to the show here is she had just bought a house. She was in the process of moving into it when she passed. And when she passed, we realized she didn't have a will. She didn't have a backup plan for the house. And the house had to go into probate, and it was tied up for months. And at the time, we didn't know who could live in the house, who was going to pay the utility bills and so forth. And it created kind of a mess, So we see that. Yeah, so we all need to prepare things, I think, some people think that maybe that's kind of made me cold in my thinking, but not really. We all, it's a reality for all of us, and we all need to be prepared for things. And, the other figure, mother figure in my life was my grandmother, and I got a quick funny story I wanted to tell about her, but she... old Italian woman, stubborn, just a real sweetheart of a person. But as she got older, she didn't want to leave her house. And, she had laundry in the basement, and she still wanted to cut the grass. And it was a real difficult thing for us to try to convince her into just downsizing, not necessarily a nursing home type of situation. So I'll just tell the part of the story really quickly. We can get into more detail how this works. But she refused to move, and finally one of her doctors said, well, legally I can give her discharge instructions that she cannot go back to that house. And the whole family, my dad, my siblings, my grandma's grandchildren, were all in the hospital room, and the doctor says this to my grandmother. And
and with that personality she has.
I thought, oh boy, So she says to one of the grandchildren, he was, early elementary grade. She said, "Go into bring me my purse." I thought, oh boy, what's coming out of the purse? Anyway, she pulled out a brochure, and it was a place that she wanted to go to. She had already looked into it and made her decision, and we all breathed a sigh of relief and everything because we had no idea it was coming. But along those lines, we have my sister Lisa Gigliotti with us here today. And
hey, Lisa.
She's written a series of books, and she has a website. She's a judge, and part of what she speaks about, I think, has to do with this. So we can bounce around all the legal stuff we want to, but sometimes it's not about the direct legalities. Sometimes it's about how do we deal with people. So, Lisa, what are your thoughts on this? What should people do when they're in this type of situation?
Well, let me just say thank you very much, and buongiorno. I'm glad to be here, and you're exactly right. The series of books I wrote they're titled Coraggio, and coraggio in Italian means courage. And part of the main and core message here is that, for example, our Italian grandmother, when she came from Italy, they had nothing. She was a little girl. She didn't speak English. No one in their family spoke English. They had no money, no possessions, etc. But they always knew there was at least one aspect of their situation over which they could take charge.
Right.
So when you're asking me this question about what can a family do, it's important to step back and look what's happening. The further in advance you can plan, the better, right?
Exactly.
Because at the time this is happening, it's really emotional. In the situation with our mother, she had died in a terrible car accident. Paul left that out. Can you imagine the emotional turmoil the entire family?
All of a sudden.
So Right. You have to figure out these, really, it's one of the most important times in life to help people in transitioning and meeting their needs, et cetera, but you're doing it at a time when everybody's affected and being grieved.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions involved at the same time with decisions.
Right. But what happens often is our parents are starting to transition into the next phase of their life is, as you can imagine, they're trying to maintain as much control as possible. And they're trying to continue to be independent because nobody wants to be a burden on anybody else.
Right.
So if you think back of that message of coraggio, and what aspect can you take charge, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Start thinking about just one small baby step, a change in your habit or a change in a thought. And believe it or not, sometimes the change in thought is more important than all the money in the world, because it's what can we do either for the family as a whole or separately as the family who's trying to take care of mom or dad in their situation, or the person themselves. Well, because we know everybody wants to be independent, we can say, what change in thought can we help this with? Okay, what is really the most important to you? Is it more important to you, Mom, that you're independent? Well, what can we do then to help you start thinking about a way that you can continue to live on your own?
Right.
Is it getting an apartment? Is it something such as that? And maybe even the assisted living situations, but what is important to you? Is it that you can worship every week for your faith? Well, find that faith community.
Cutting the grass might not be as important in some of the other aspects of time, and things that are difficult to do.
Or socialization, if you like to go to the casino. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just have a thing like that. So anyway,
sure.
Jim, one of the questions I would ask back to you that would be helpful to me when I'm talking to people such as this is, if you have, let's say your mother has the big home, the family home still, and
Sure.
she can't climb the stairs and do things like that, is there a way you can help families search for those things, or what?
Yeah, there's a lot of times, with our generation right now where things are transitioning, and the older generation is going to, find a house that's going to be more suitable, maybe a single story without a basement, maybe, some assisted living. And I think, one of the biggest things you mentioned was the ability to, have your own freedom to do what you want to do, to still be able to go out, to drive, to socialize with, your friends and within your church. And that's really important. And when you're looking at, selling a house, obviously, sometimes you're not just selling a house, you're selling memories, you're selling a feeling, of Christmases. And, and with that, it can be difficult when you sit down with a family and you want to list a house, because some of the siblings may say, no, we don't want to let it go, and the parents will say, yes, we do, or even vice versa on that, that the parents may not want to, let it go. So, it is a tough decision as a real estate agent. So I think you have to wear your heart on your sleeve when you meet with people on these type of listings. And I think that, you have to, think of it in the round and try to make a really good collective decision. And I would present that listing with all the positives for selling the house, and then I would also then in turn listen to them with all the reasons they might not want to sell, and it might not be that year, or that might take a few more years for this to come up again, where you would say, okay, now's the time to list. It wasn't 2-3 years ago, but it is now. And obviously the market plays a factor in it. I mean, when a house is underwater, it's not so easy to sell, and short sales and so on and so forth can be stressful in themselves. So I think that the timing is important, and the real estate agent has to have a good sense of self in order to then in turn project that and in the conversation and in caring for the client that they're sitting there representing in a tough time like that. So.
One of the reasons I'm just delighted to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Sure, no problem.
Is because I know you, and I know the care that you have for other people, and I know Paul very well, and I know that if he's helping people in their estate planning or helping them try to figure out the type of legal structure they need to be in for their family, that he really is putting as much care into it as if it was our grandmother all over again, and that's so important to find people such as that to help.
Absolutely, and I've known Paul for a long time, and I think we play soccer together at Total Sports with our kids, and those guys are all in their 20s, and I guess you could call us in our midlife, and I mean in a sense, I think we're there, and I think it's the Sturm und Drang of our youthful years. It's alchemized us into the highest manifestation of our talents at this time, and sometimes that's good for ourselves, and it's also good for others that we can take the time and understand and help people out with the knowledge that we've accumulated in the past and with the wisdom that we have now. So when we're working, I know, Paul, when you're working on a a bankruptcy or anything that's in the legal genre, you bring more to the table than just a degree. You also bring a heart to the table and a caringness. And I think that when we put this show together, and I thought Paul and I would be able to to try to get that out. And I know, Lisa, your history and what you've accomplished in your life, kind of, you swim in those same waters. It's been very refreshing to know you and know Paul for a long time and work on the things that we find important in the community. And real estate might just be real estate to some people, but it's more than just that. To myself, I think you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it, and I do. And I think that selling a house sometimes can be a blast if you have the right demeanor and you put the seller at ease, and that's what we're trying to do here. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. First, I wanted to say, everybody out there, I think you got the message now that we want to answer your questions, so please give us a call. The number here at the station is 800-923-9385. So give us a call with your questions. After the show, you can check out our website or while we're on the air at oraclesofradio.com. And, go along those same lines of what we're talking about. I always have this little story I always tell people is one time I saw on the television news one time where an elderly woman had her purse snatched, and some passerby chased down the purse snatcher for blocks and blocks and blocks, ended up getting the purse back, and then got interviewed by the news reporter. And the news reporter said, what were you thinking? You could have been hurt. Something could have happened to you. You don't even know this woman. Why would you do this? And his response was, if that were my grandmother that happened to, I would hope that somebody out there would have done the same thing for her. And, that when I saw that story, that really hit home to me because my grandmother, while my grandfather was still alive, they had made a pact with each other, and they basically said, we're not going to burden the children or the grandchildren with any things we need to take care of. We are just going to handle this on our own. So day in and day out, I'd always think of my grandmother, out there in the world trying to take care of things herself, and I just hoped that there was somebody out there like me that would give her, the good, honest advice and care,
With that thought, hey, Paul, hang on to that thought. We'll be right back, guys. Appreciate it.
Chairman Ben Bernanke is keeping interest rates low for now. So it's time you take advantage of this opportunity and look into refinancing your current home or purchasing a new one. Parks Title wants to remind you to exercise your right to choose your own title company when refinancing or purchasing your home. Whether you are selling, buying, or refinancing, remember Parks Title is independently owned with offices across Michigan to serve you. Visit parkstitle.com or like us on Facebook to learn more about how Parks Title can serve you.
Moms of America, stand up and stop taking abuse from your kids.
I pledge never to let my kid disrespect me ever again.
I pledge to stop letting my daughter walk all over me.
I pledge to stop living in fear of my son's anger.
I pledge never to feel like a bad parent ever again, because I'm not.
I pledge to stop letting my child's behavior control my home.
I pledge to be a mom with kids who listen, a total transformation mom.
I'm Janet Lehman, co-creator of the Total Transformation Program. We created the Total Transformation to help parents with difficult child behavior. Now I'm giving it away free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free.
Call 1-800-596-8358. That's 1-800-596-8358. Call now. That's 1-800-596-8358. That's 1-800-596-8358.
This is Pastor John Gunn from the Power Company Kids Club in Pontiac, Michigan. In 2012, 10 Pontiac teens were charged with murder. For 20 years now, the Power Company Kids Club has been rescuing kids from that future, building their social, spiritual, and physical well-being through the saving power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm inviting you to attend the 20th anniversary gala and auction at the Royal Park Hotel on Friday, June 7th. Go to PowerCompanyKidsClub.org for all the details. It's a great night of fun and entertainment, but more important, you can make a kingdom difference for youth and teens right here in Pontiac, Michigan. Please join us at the Royal Park Hotel for our 20th anniversary gala and auction, and consider a financial gift too. Go to PowerCompanyKidsClub.org right now. That's PowerCompanyKidsClub.org. And thank you.
Hey, welcome back to the Oracles of Radio with Jimmy Moss, a real estate agent and attorney Paul Gigliotti. Our number here is 800-923-9385. So if you want to call in for any real estate questions, buying or selling, short sales, anything in those waters, and also any law questions, bankruptcies, Chapter 7s, 13s, anything that is a legal question out there, and we happen to have a great judge here, Lisa Gigliotti, so I'm sure she'll be able to chime in on a few things. But I wanted to kind of segue from what Paul was saying here into this. I think that when that guy was chasing that other guy down to get the purse back, it becomes a respect for others, for other human beings, and sometimes the tiniest droplet of compassion. Maybe the person behind the counter, you're just a little bit more thankful for the person that, carries your luggage, or someone behind. Even in traffic, I could say that you left somebody in. It's not so much what it does to make them feel, good about themselves, and that is important, but it's what it does for you. It changes you, and within that is a small change in the universe and how things work. And, any shift in that world for yourself is positive, and we try to do things in a positive light here in the show. And it's a lot of business stuff that we talk about and we work on, but we don't do it in the genre of what can I do for myself, to better myself. That's not how we look at it, because I think that's a spiritual dead end. And when you look at business, we look at it in a broader light. And sometimes, even in the fact of, when I talk to my friends and they work so much, some of the other real estate agents that I know, it's time to take a vacation, for your own body, for your own mind, to relax, to feel better. Because when you're in the flow and you have a clear mind, you can help yourself out and other people out when you're not clear and you're so busy. So what I'm trying to say to you guys that are out there listening, take the time to work on yourself, take a vacation, and you'll know, you'll feel in your gut that you're on the right track when you get back to business. And with that said, some of the business that Lisa that you've been in, obviously being a judge is is a business, but it's more than that for you. You've taken things a little bit farther, and I know the show here is about real estate, and you guys can also call in about law stuff. But the stuff that you've done personally in your life, I just find it interesting, and I just want you to kind of throw it out there. Tell people what you do and what books you've written and stuff.
Sure. For my day job, I'm kidding. In my day job, I just want to clarify that it's an administrative law judge, and the difference between that and a judge you might see for traffic tickets or something like that is that we're helping people appeal any type of decision a department in the state of Michigan has made. And, it has taught me a lot about the fact that the more you can plan in your own personal life now, especially for later on in life, is incredibly important, because as our mother, you never know what what might happen.
Yeah.
And then kind of my commitment to maybe give back in life, because I feel so fortunate, to have conquered several really potentially debilitating diseases, et cetera, to be so career-oriented, is to give back through the Coraggio book series. So the first book is more about the overall story and encouraging people to just take a minute to find what aspect of any daunting situation there might be over which they can find one thing they can take charge of and take control of their life and improve and move forward in their life. But the fourth book was very important to me, and I decided to make it a separate book for what we were just talking about, planning for different and or not even so much end, different transitions in our life. So the fourth book is really about end-of-life caring and improving end-of-life caring. And one of the most important aspects of that are some legal tools to help you do that. Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind me taking a moment to say, one of my pet peeves is everybody saying, I have a power of attorney for my mother so I could do this, this, and this, or for my father. That is such a misnomer. And it's really important to understand that you can have a power of attorney over somebody's health care, so you're making health care decisions if they're incompetent, or to make medical decisions. But just as important are the powers of attorney for financing, maybe to sign real estate documents, etc. But they're all specific. And so it does really help to talk to a legal professional to sort out. Some of them only become effective if somebody becomes, father becomes incompetent. That's really important for a father who wants to make sure they have control for as long as they can.
I think it's real important. I'll tell you, we moved back here. My father had a stroke, and we moved back here to help take care of the family. Like you say, you get to the point where you are there for your family, and with Mother's Day being today, it's a time to kind of reflect back on all the the things that your family has done for you, your mother, your father, and hopefully that the nucleus of the family, the nuclear family that sometimes is so much under attack nowadays. I think that it's a great day to look back at mothers and preparing for them and what they might need to do for the future legally. I mean, it's so important.
What could be a better Mother's Day gift, really, Jim, than to sit down with your mother and just talk over some of these things? Most people know how many cable channels they have on their television, right?
Sure.
But they don't. Yes,
I
that's
know,
right.
But you're probably right.
Right. Or what different aspects are on their car, but they don't know who their mother's doctor is or what their health insurance is. They don't know where the deed is to their mother's home. They don't know whose name is on it or their parents' home together.
And that's what your books are helpful in some of that.
Yes. I have to say that everybody, before they leave this world, really wants to have what they call the caring conversations.
Right.
It's 5 simple steps. The first one is, I forgive you. Second is, please forgive me. The third one is so simple and beautiful. I love you.
Yeah.
The fourth is thank you, and the fifth is goodbye. And what other greater gift could we possibly ever do than to help somebody talk through those things, so that they I've had 11 major surgeries in my life. There's never, ever a guarantee.
Yeah.
I might have been younger at some of the times. You're young, nothing can happen. There isn't. But what really helped me was talking to my brother. I asked him to be my power of attorney for health care. I laid out everything for him. I talked about everything. He did that for our grandmother. He kept it complete confidence, etc.
Right.
What a beautiful gift. So just making a plea to everyone with their mothers to try to have even one part of that caring conversation today.
Yeah, it's go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, just so everybody knows, the one thing I did tell her is I'm not making the pull the plug decision.
Yes.
But I came right out and told her. I said, yeah, I'm more than happy to do this for you, but I don't give the decision to pull the plug. It's just something I have a hard time with. Kind of funny in a way, but not funny.
It is, but it's a great story that I tell everybody.
And you really have to have that kind of conversation. And, everybody has a story about when somebody passes. There's always that one person in the family that's going to make things difficult. But for those of us who aren't the difficult people, have the conversation with your loved one and get some questions answered for them. And, a lot of people, as they get older, they get real suspicious of other people. And sometimes they think there's a conspiracy going on. Take them with you to go see somebody and to get your questions answered, And here's my funny thing in my family about that. My grandma always took my advice, but my dad, whenever he would have an issue, he'd say, I don't know what to do about this. I should call a lawyer. And I'd be like, Dad, what do you think I went to school all these years for, is to learn about how to take care of these kind of things. And most first and foremost, I'd love to be able to use that knowledge to take care of my family. But now, with my grandmother, it was a lot of simple stuff. She would ask me, she would say, how do I set things up so that there won't be any fighting over my things and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And, again, the hardcore legal way, which I don't necessarily recommend. Somebody might go to a lawyer and just say, look, I need a will and blah, 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 blah. And matter of fact, I had a friend of mine call me on Friday. And he had this issue with his family, and he's saying, why is it going to cost us so much to probate this estate, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, you never know what's going to happen. Who's going to say anything? And he said, no. My mom put in there, all capital letters, no contest clause. Anybody contests anything, they're out of the will. And I said, okay. And I said, so that takes care of it. And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. Well, what if the contesting of the will is that mom wasn't of sound mind and body when she signed the will? Now the will is knocked out and the no contest clause is knocked out. And the thing that happens when you hear the stories is the judge can appoint an independent third-party attorney to handle the estate, and he gets paid out of the estate. And in that particular case, the attorney wanted $350 an hour. And, one of the things that I do in my job day to day is to give answers to things not just on a billing basis. And I say it on the show all the time. If you have a question about something, call me. Even if you have another lawyer and you say, is this right, or is it supposed to cost this much? Please give me a call, and I can at least tell you, like I always say, what to look out for. I may not be able to tell you what to do, but I can at least, tell you what to look out for. And anyways, for my grandmother, there was a lot of little, not necessarily technically legal things, but a lot of things she could do ahead of time to set things up so that it didn't have to go into probate. It didn't have to do with the will. And she took that advice, and everything went pretty smooth.
Yeah, what we're talking about on the show right here, the show is the Orcosa Radio, and we're on every Sunday from 2 to 3. The number to call in is 800-923-9385. Once again, that's 800-923-9385. And it's about real estate, and it's about law. So we have Lisa on. She is a judge, and she's Paul's sister, and we love her to death. And Paul is a stellar attorney, and if you do have any questions that you want to call into the show, give us a call. If they're real estate questions, we'll give them our best shot. If they're law questions, obviously, I think that we got the big guns in the office today, so we'll have no problem with that. But we also talk about other avenues in this show, and sometimes we branch out, but we think about businesses and all the different types of businesses that are out there, and what you do to start a business, and what's a good business to start in today's market. And we do like to try to talk about economy later on tonight or today. We have Elliot might call in, and he'll talk about all the things that go on with unemployment and the different types of things that are happening out there in the stock market. But I got a caller here, Jeff. Jeff, hold on one second, buddy. We're going to go to break, so hold on there, Jeff. I'll get right to you.
Thinking of downsizing? It's a seller's market, and sold signs are popping up all over town. Parks Title wants to remind you, you have a right to choose your own title company if you are selling, buying, or refinancing your home. Parks Title is independently owned with offices across Michigan to serve you. We have more than 25 years experience in clearing title and bringing deals to the closing table quickly and accurately. Talk to your real estate agent today. Visit parkstitle.com or like us on Facebook to learn more about how Parks Title can serve you.
Moms of America, stand up and stop taking abuse from your kids.
I pledge never to let my kid disrespect me ever again.
I pledge to stop letting my daughter walk all over me.
I pledge to stop living in fear of my son's anger.
I pledge never to feel like a bad parent ever again. Because I'm not.
I pledge to stop letting my child's behavior control my home.
I pledge to be a mom with kids who listen, a total transformation mom.
I'm Janet Lehman, co-creator of the Total Transformation Program. We created the Total Transformation to help parents with difficult child behavior. Now I'm giving it away free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free.
Call 1-800-596-8358. That's 1-800-596-8358. Call now. That's 1-800-596-8358. That's 1-800-596-8358.
Alex is 8 years old. Like most kids his age, he has hopes and dreams, but instead of hoping for a new video game or PlayStation, Alex hopes he gets to eat today. Instead of dreaming about becoming a pro athlete or fireman, he dreams that one day he won't wake up with the constant pain of hunger in his stomach. You see, like so many kids in Guatemala, Alex is severely malnourished. He rarely eats anything healthy. Many days, he doesn't eat at all. But that can change tomorrow. Food for the Poor feeds millions of people each week, and with your help, we can feed Alex too, and his brothers and sister. Your one-time gift of just $44 will feed Alex every day for the next year. Will you be the answer to Alex's prayers for help? Please call now. 855-860-4673. That's 855-860-HOPE. Or give online at baytalk1500.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Oracles of Radio with Jimmy Moss with Red Carpet Platinum, real estate agent here, and attorney Paul Gigliotti. So if you have any bankruptcy questions, Chapter 7s, 13s, so on and so forth, and any law questions, also here we have his sister in, which is Judge Lisa Gigliotti, and we have a caller here, Jeff, and we want to bring Jeff on, and he's going to kind of give us an overview of who he is, what he does, and all the good things about what he does. Are you there, Jeff?
Yeah, I am. Nice to talk to you guys. And
hey.
Nice to you too.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So why don't you tell everybody out there just an overview of, once again, I mean, what do you do? What type of businesses do you kind of work with?
Well, I've been a lifelong entrepreneur, and so for me, it's been a series of building a variety of businesses, and ranging from, being an inventor early on, to forming one of the world's leading Arabian horse breeding and marketing operations, to creating several biotech and internet companies that have been sold very successfully. So a big cross range of a variety of businesses.
Nice.
And, see, here's the thing. There has never been a better time than now to start a business. And it really doesn't matter, as they say, whether, I've been involved in biotech businesses or internet or even in inventions. It really doesn't matter what it is. The environment right now is as good as it is at any time. We can always find excuses why it may not be a good time, but the reality is it's a great time to start a business, and America is definitely the land of opportunity when it comes to starting businesses here.
And you're gonna tell me why, because the question is when I'm gonna kind of lay it out there, and I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, throw it. So all right. The economy's a little tough. Job market's a little tough. Unemployment, the numbers say they're going down. I say there might be a little skewed. And then you're, obviously telling me that, now's the time to do it. And tell me why is now the time to do a business? What do you think?
Well, first of all, you just mentioned about the job market. It used to be that starting a business was the converse or the alternative to getting a career kind of job where you'd have job security and everything else that went with it. That's no longer. We can't look at things that way anymore. In fact, in many ways, one could argue that having a business of your own provides more security, financial security for you and your family once you have it rolling than does a corporate position. At least you're in control at that point. You're not going to have someone come knocking on your door and say, hey, time to go. So it puts you in control, and I think that's really important. Moreover, with respect to why now is a good time, there's lots of capital sitting on the sidelines right now that wants to find a place to be invested. Now, raising money isn't easy. Getting money from banks isn't easy. But if you do this right, if you develop a business plan, if you go about this methodically, if you take the right steps, you can definitely put yourself in position to raise money should you need it. There's nothing wrong with bootstrapping either. So, and not raising money. But I'll tell you the other, just real quickly with respect to why this is a great time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of change going on in the market right now, and change and transformation always equals opportunity. We've got, in the technology world, a big move right now, for example, going on from the internet to mobile platforms. That's a huge opportunity, huge. It's the next big wave. So there's an opportunity there. With respect to, just kind of the heartland America types of businesses, there's tremendous opportunity there, and you don't have to invent a new business. You can just take an existing business, whether it be dog walking or a yoga studio or a restaurant or whatever it may be, and learn from what others have done and go about this the right way. Again, methodically, build the right plan, put the right pieces together, ramp up slowly, and you can win.
Let me ask you this: when you were saying earlier, there's money on the sidelines, and I've heard that, in listening to talk radio all the time, and also obviously reading as much information as I can get my hands on. Do you contribute that to some of the uncertainty with Obamacare, or is it as big as the corporate tax rate being 9.3%, which is, obviously the highest in the world that the U.S. has? I mean, why is the money on the sidelines? And if you're going to jump in and you're going to, help somebody build a business right now, you would have, obviously, if I was going to sit down with you and you're going to say, listen, I have this idea, I want to do this business, and I want you to help me with it, I would ask those pertinent questions to you. So how would you answer those questions? I mean, why is the money on the sideline?
Yeah, first, you kind of asked about two things, with respect to regulation and the environment right now, and then why is the money on the sidelines. First, with respect to regulation, look, as I said before, there's always an opportunity to find reasons why not to do this, and there's always encumbrances. But think of the opportunities we have here versus some of the other countries around the globe. To me, I don't even look at stuff like regulation in this country and everything else. Yes, from time to time it may be better, and at other times it may be worse. But I can guarantee you one thing: it's still the best, and it's not an encumbrance. I can tell you that's an excuse. It's not an encumbrance.
I love that about you.
Others, but yeah, absolutely. Look, we got to get off the couch if you want to start a business, either part-time or full-time. And don't let that stuff get in the way. Don't even go there.
One of the things that I find interesting with your your energy and where you're taking things is that the United States is unique in itself, and I've been all over the world traveling, and I've been to many, many countries. So I kind of got an overview of what's going on out there, and what the world's like. So I can speak about this. That the United States is born on risk takers, and risk takers. I mean, it goes back as far as the Neanderthal gene. I mean, everybody that took a chance to come over to the United States on the Mayflower and all these other boats. I mean, they risked their lives in these seas and some of these old boats to come over here, and that sets Americans apart from any other country in the world. We have the most risk takers, innovators, and those people that are sitting on the sidelines, that are listening in their cars and driving by, say this is the time to do it. And we have to do it not only for ourselves. What I'm thinking is that it's good for your brother, the fellow Americans. I mean, I don't want the federal government being the cure-all, end-all. I want them to defend the country, stick to the constitutions of what you need to do, and let small business take off and create what it's meant to create, and that's build this U.S. the economy the way it should be. So what's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I love. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. That was beautifully said and so appropriate. You talk about entrepreneurship being important not only to the individual, but to your, as you say, your brother or your community or, your local economies at large. 75% of all new jobs in this country are created by small business. 99% of all current employers in this country are small businesses. 51% of the GDP in this country, small business. If you take small business out of the equation, the whole thing comes crumbling down. It is the lifeblood of the American economy. The big corporations are important too, but without the small business community and component, and you talk about risk takers and that being uniquely American, I love that. I love what you said, and it's so true.
Yeah.
It's what moves the ball forward. That's why we're the land of innovation. That's what makes America great, in my opinion.
Well,
and that is part of our culture.
I know Paul's got a couple questions for you, and my brother is on the line holding, so don't go anywhere, Jeff. Stay right there. Paul's going to run some stuff, and Dan, I know you want to jump in, and I'm going to jump you in a second in the call here, so hang on there, brother. But Paul, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, this is Paul. First of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time with us today.
Sure, I'm happy to be here. I should mention that my last name is Sloan, Jeff Sloan. I'm from StartupNation.com. I've also got a venture development firm here in Birmingham, Michigan, where we're building a variety of companies in partnership with inventors and entrepreneurs and innovators who have great ideas.
Yeah, we're all local guys. We love that. Go ahead.
You stole my line, Jeff. I was going to give the website.
Well, I didn't give the website yet, so it's all yours.
Well, I wanted to start off with that I did go to your website, and I really enjoyed it. And the really good part I liked about it was that you laid out steps for people. And I thought that was a really good thing, because a lot of websites are like, yeah, we're great, but call us or give us your phone number and we'll talk to you. So I like the way you have the steps out there. But, as much as a positive person as I am, through my legal training, I'm always taught to try and see the other side of things. So I don't mean this in a negative way, but as you're aware, with the auto industry, a lot of people received buyouts. So they got these big chunks of money, And a lot of them are like, look, they're giving me 70 grand, 100 grand. I'm taking that money. I'm going to start a business. And I don't know if you caught earlier that Jimmy mentioned that we do mostly bankruptcy in our office. So what I see a lot is people that get this buyout money. They start a business, and 3-4 months later, it's gone. So here's the point of my question is, not everybody has that work ethic. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to run a business and I'm going to make money, but they don't want to show up and they don't want to put the time and effort in. And I didn't see anything on your website about that, so I was wondering if you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, we definitely need people to get off. More people pulling the cart that are in the cart. We need people pulling the cart. So get off the couch and get it done. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, and and all that enthusiasm and bravado is really, really good. But Paul, you make an excellent point. And I used the word earlier. You got to be methodical about this. You absolutely do. And there's nothing wrong with starting. It's good to take risks. It's also good to be smart, methodical, and calculated about what you're doing and to prepare yourself properly so that you don't end up with one of those failures and losing your money and end up as one of Paul's clients, having him do bankruptcy work for you.
Hey, Jeff, hold that thought 1 second. Let me jump my brother in here. He is a business owner in California, and he's been in construction his whole life and started from nothing. So hold on a second, Dan, see if I can get you in. Hey, Dan, are you there?
I'm here, James. How are you?
Hey, brother, man. It's always good to talk to you. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Just doing the show. I knew we talked earlier. You said you might call in, I know you're probably calling in for Mother's Day and all that stuff, but we're also talking about business, and I know you've done a heck of a job running your business. But go ahead, Danny. Talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, this is the first time, of course, I've listened to the show, being in Bakersfield, California.
Yeah.
I pulled it up on the internet, and very interesting. I like it a lot. A lot of good information here, and I think you guys are doing a great job. And but I did have a question on some real estate as far as mineral rights that you might be able to help me with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let me run it by you. Okay, there was a grant deed dated 1/28/2005. And in the Exhibit A of the grant deed, it said accept half of all gas and other hydrocarbons and substances, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And accept starting with an E, not an A. And then it was re-recorded again back in 9/20/2012. And they put in there this time, except all gas and oil and other hydrocarbon substances. I'm thinking about purchasing this property, and I would like to, own half of these mineral rights.
Yeah.
Is this something that the title company has messed up on as far as, wording this differently than it originally was?
Absolutely. When it comes to all this stuff with title, we're going to come up on a hard break here, so I'm going to jump into this question, and I might have to segue in after the break. Well, when you're dealing with mineral rights, you want to make sure that whoever the owner of the property is, that they have the right to transfer those mineral rights over, and that whatever's recorded, right now at the corner recorder's office on the deed, is true to form, and that doing a history, a check, you're going back and seeing that everything, is such and such, that this person then in turn doesn't own the rights and they haven't signed off on them, or they did sign off on them. So the title company is going to be your first step, and they're going to then in turn, the real estate agent is going to use their information of what they've gathered to, make sure that is, there's also some other questions too that you want to ask. So hold that thought, brother. We'll be right back, guys.
Thank you for the amazing job you've done in moving my first book forward in the publishing process.
Ludi Cotton Darnell's book, Ashley, Alex, and the Mystery Twins, was published with Zulon Press.
This is an exciting time for me.
Have you got a book for a Christian audience? Want to control the publishing process? Your free publishing guide is at ChristianPublishing.com.
I thank the Lord that Zulon Press has made it possible.
Visit Zulon Press for your free publishing guide at ChristianPublishing.com.
Great tuition deals are back at theidealdepot.com. Macomb Christian School is down to its final half-price tuition deal, just a bit over $3,000 for one full year at Macomb Christian School, one of the area's best. And Sunnybrook Golf is back with $50 gift certificates, just $25, and they're moving off the shelves briskly. For Mother's Day, half off at Tamara's Spa. $50 value, just $25. Ram's Horn Rochester Hills with its popular $50 gift certificates, just $25, and they'll go quick. Great food, even better value. Finally, just one more Mathnasium certificate left. Remember, that's 8 one-hour tutoring sessions, usually $450, just $199 only at the Ideal Depot, and only one left. As always, read our important restrictions. It's all half price all the time, only at theidealdepot.com. That's theidealdepot.com.
ACOS the Solutionist here. Overweight? So am I. Have you heard all this TV doctor buzz about Garcinia cambogia? This superfood extract can help suppress your appetite and reduce the risk of overeating, reduce calorie intake by 25%, inhibit fat production while burning fat, all helping to reduce body weight, even helps promote normal cholesterol and healthy serotonin levels. Not only that, it's also a great source of calcium. No wonder people are raving about it. We want you to try it. So here's the offer. Instead of paying over $120 online, we'll send you a 1-month supply for $29.99, which is already the best price out there. Then we won't send you a 1-month bottle, we'll send you 3 bottles, triple the offer, still only $29.99. You can't beat $10 a bottle. Call 1-888-877-0490. That's 1-888-877-0490. Or go to mycoolgadgets.com. That's mycoolgadgets.com. What do you have to lose? Oh yeah, your weight.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I said listen to them.
Hey, welcome back to the Oracles of Radio. You can visit us at our website at oraclesofradio.com. You can email us questions at oraclesofradio.com. Our number to our main office is 855-USA-1976. This show is based on real estate. Any real estate questions, buying or selling, short sales, I can help you out with those details. And it's based on law. We got Paul Gigliotti here. He is the attorney to help you out with your Chapter 7s, your 13s, and any other legal questions he's willing to take on. So, once again, you can reach us at our office at 855-USA-1976. To call in, it's 800-923-9385. And with that said, I wanted to jump back in and finish up the conversation with my brother Dan, and Jeff's on the other line. So, hey, are you guys, you're both there, right?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Dan, my answer to you on all of the mineral rights is exactly what I do with all my clients that want to make sure that they're buying a property and it's completely free and clear with, and the title is how it should be, and nothing's been added to the title abstractly, and that is to start with the title company and work their, all your questions through the title company, and at that point, I know you called in also to talk to Mom, and I know she's probably out and about with Dave, but go ahead. What did you want to say?
Well, I appreciate that info, and I will be contacting the title company this week, and I'll thank you very much. And of course, it is Mother's Day, and from Bakersfield, California, Dan, Stacy, and Cody would like to wish Mom a very happy Mother's Day.
You got it, brother. Hey, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And to all the mothers in this world.
Yeah, they're an important part.
Have a great day, okay?
You got it, brother. Love you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. You guys doing a great job.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
You know, Jimmy, I just wanted to touch on what Dan was talking about. You notice everybody says the title policy, and the reason why it's called a policy is it's actually insurance when the transfer happens. And I'll say this in a joking way, but when you look at your closing paperwork and you see the title policy, there's always a ton of exceptions. And myself as the lawyer, when I look at those, I always think, darn, they're accepting everything, but they want to make sure that they're not going to come back and get sued for anything, so they try to include every exception in there. And while we're talking about that, I wanted to mention, don't forget our sponsors. One of our sponsors is Parks Title. They do a great job. So if you have something coming up as far as a real estate transaction, give them a call, and especially if you're doing the sale on your own. I reviewed a land contract on Friday where the people were doing a sale without an agent, which I was highly against, not having an agent, not having a title company. But that's what you want to do, and you want to look at that title policy, and you want to see if there was any exceptions in there to these mineral rights. And if there weren't any exceptions in there, then there probably was a problem with the deed, and it would be the title company's job to either fix the deed or go ahead and make amends for whatever wasn't being covered properly.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to jump Jeff back in here, and then I know we want to kind of close up with Lisa's got a few things she wants to add, but hold on one second. Hey, Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, go ahead. I wanted to kind of wrap it up so we can finish up some of the things here in the show. We're coming up on a hard break here at 3. So, why don't you plug your company one more time, give an overview of who you are, and then we'll catch up next week and obviously do it all over again.
Let me use the last few seconds I have to do this. First of all, check out StartupNation.com to learn more about me. More importantly, here's what you need to think about. Figure out what type of business you want to be in. Learn how to put a business plan together. It's the most important thing you can do for yourself in getting prepared. Go to StartupNation.com. The information there is all free. You can go through the steps, the 10 steps then, how you can methodically go through figuring out what business you want to be in, how to go about it, and how to get it started, and how to grow it. It's all right there. Make sure you equip yourself with all the knowledge you can get and go for it.
Yep, that sounds good, buddy, and you'll be there to help them out through and through. So we'll catch up with you next week, and we're gonna segue out of this one and kind of finish up the show here. So we appreciate it, buddy. Front seat in heaven for you, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, so with that said, you're listening to the Oracles of Radio. We're on every Sunday from 2 to 3. Our number to call us in our office, if you have any real estate questions in buying or selling. I mean, my name is Jimmy Moss. I work with Red Carpet Platinum, and our number is 855-USA-1976. You can visit our website at oraclesofradio.com. You can email me questions and Paul questions at questions@oraclesofradio.com. And Paul Gigliotti is obviously a great attorney, and if you have a great attorney, great. If you want a great attorney, you call Paul. He knows what he's doing. He knows his onions, as we talk about on this show. And with that said, we had a lovely guest today, Lisa Gigliotti. And Lisa, I wanted to give you the last few minutes to kind of go over who your website, the things you do, and all that stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I understand that someone was calling. They were interested in at least one or all of the books as a Mother's Day gift. Yes, yeah. It's a great Mother's Day gift because it really honors mothers, who they are, and what they've given to us. So we, as we, moving forward in our lives, can take from their example and their love and their giving and move forward. So it's available at the website With Courage I Can.
Mm-hmm.
And
say it again. Give us the With Courage I Can.
With Courage I Can. It's one word.
Okay.
And also our last name is spelled Gigliotti, Gigliotti. You can do a Google search and find it on Amazon that way.
Yeah.
And Coraggio, COR1R.
Mm-hmm.
AGGIO. So
it's great. It's great stuff. We're going to bring Elliot on. We got 1 minute before the show's up, Elliot, and we'll see what Mr. Elliot Eisenberg has to say. Elliot, are you there? Hello, Elliot.
Hello.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, thanks for calling in. We only have a quick segment, so why don't you give me the hot topic of the day, and see if you can't give me a quick snapshot of your thoughts on what's going on out there in the world of economics.
Hey, people are thinking the U.S. economy is doing pretty well, quite frankly, right now. U.S. dollar is rising against foreign currencies, against all foreign currencies.
Yeah.
Our economy is growing. Other countries are not growing. I mean, as anemic as we are, and we're not all that anemic,
yeah,
we're doing better than all the other ones. So the euro against the euro, we're strengthening. Against the yen, we're strengthening. Against the won and Korea, we're strengthening. We're looking like the best country out there right now.
Well, you got to love the USA. I mean, when I travel the world abroad, the biggest thing that I ask people, and I've been to a lot of countries, and I don't want to break down all of them. I don't have enough time for that. But I said, what do you love about the United States? And it's the patriotism. You can't beat the patriotism. I mean, what is it? The French army? You can tell you're fighting them because you can see their backs because they're running away. I mean,
that is funny.
I know. I'm telling. And I've been to France many times. It's a great place, so I take that back. But nevertheless, it is a great country. Go ahead, Elliot.
Yeah, and economically we're doing well. I mean, the budget deficit's starting to go down, not maybe as fast as some of us would like, but I think faster than most economists would generally like. Currency's looking good. Labor markets are improving in Detroit and the rest of the country. I mean, Colorado, it's improving here as well. So, hey, the worst is over. Think about expanding your business now.
That's what we talked about earlier with Jeff on the show. Absolutely. Hey, Elliot, you're always bringing all the great information. We love having you on. We'll have you on next week. You guys can listen to Elliot Eisenberg. Elliot, quick plug who you are, what's your stuff. Where can you find you?
Hey, my company is called Graphs and Laughs. And you can reach me at Graphs. You can go to econ70.com.
Okay, Elliot, we love you, man. Graphs and Laughs. We got to go, buddy. We got to go. Hey, thank you for listening to the Oracles of Radio. Give us a call at 855-USA-1976. Jimmy Moss, Paul Gigliotti, we thank you once again.
Thank you for listening to the Oracles of Radio, sponsored by Oracles of Radio,